At
All right,
home.
You're
gentlemen,
gonna be a
let's
sad puppy.
keep the
At
ball
home.
rolling
No,
here.
because we're supposed to lose.
Let's
Sad
get into
puppy.
these Sunday games. Sunday games, 3 o'clock. New time frame here. Cincinnati Bengals going in the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills 5-point favorite here. They, their previous matchup got no contest. Damar Hamlin, thank goodness he's doing better out the hospital, healing up. So we get to see what could have been in this matchup. And it's a tough one because they're going to play it both hard and soft out of fear at the same time. Like you, it's you don't want an incident like that to happen again. You almost saw a similar incident, scary with Russell Gage in the Bucks. He had a little bit of a scare there, falling down on the field,
Yeah, what was that, Braid? What
getting
what,
hit
what was the
as
head
he
injury?
was. Yeah, as he
It was
was
a bad
falling
hit.
backwards after missing a kick, or after missing a catch, or the catch was behind him, he was falling backwards on his butt. A defender was running into him, and he got like a knee or a thigh or something to his back, his neck, and the side of his head. So he got a concussion and like a spine injury, I believe. But I
Wow.
believe he's at the hospital now.
Wow. Well,
But yeah, no, another
Dangerous game we play.
dangerous game,
dangerous.
scary situation. But yeah,
Our thoughts go out
Bengals
to the
and the
family.
Buffalo Bills. So for me, looking at this game, I'm gonna go Cincinnati here. I think their ability to overcome mistakes is higher than the Buffalo Bills, and it not by much, but just that little bit, right? I mean, both teams have made their share of mistakes. Quarterbacks throwing interceptions, getting sacks, um, but Cincinnati's ability to, pull it out of thin air. Hey, we're down by 14, we need to score, and they do it. It just happens for them. I think Buffalo has to struggle. I don't know. Maybe losing Dable has slowed down that offense and the spicier play calling that was there. So I'm gonna go Bengals here, just being whatever Kool-Aid is over there for them that they can pull stuff out thin air, make it work. They do it. So I'm going Cincinnati Bengals.
Nice, nice. Buffalo just doesn't need to beat themselves. I disagree. I think it's Buffalo. I think it's Buffalo 27-20-ish. I think they end up covering the spread like Buffalo because of the defense. And the offensive line for Cincinnati is an issue. And the Buffalo Bills defense reminds me a lot of what the Rams were doing last year defense, how they were able to affect ultimately Burrow in the Super Bowl. I do think it's going to be tight. I do think that there are going to be moments where it's in the balance and it's nip and tuck. But I don't expect Josh Allen to make the same mistakes that he made against Miami. I do think that he'll rein some of that stuff in. And Buffalo is capable of striking so quickly. They're like the new Kansas City now. It's they can get down the field in 3 plays, and not that Kansas City or not that Cincinnati can't, but their offense has worked a little bit differently this season than it was last season. Jamar Chase was breaking off 60-yarder after 60-yarder last season, and that's what made them so dynamic, so fun to watch last season. They've done it a different way this season after starting off slow. And Chase and Higgins are definitely, two of the top young guys in the league. There's no doubt about it. And Joe Burrow gives the Bengals a great shot to win every single game. But I think too much is in favor of Buffalo when I look at this matchup. Definitely would have liked to have seen the previous game played out to the full
For
capacity.
sure.
Cincinnati definitely jumped on them quick. So we really didn't really get to see a whole lot of the game. I think it was called at 9 minutes left in the first quarter. Um, but in Buffalo, talk about a hostile situation. Not in the same ways as Philadelphia, of course, but just fanatical people up there. It's gonna be rocking in Orchard Park. And I think at the end of the day, there's been something special about the Bills all year long, and I think they're going to continue to ride that. And I got the. How about you, Ed?
Uh, yeah, this is a crazy one with crazy implications from the couple weeks before they were supposed to play a game and some tragic incident ends up happening on the field and the game ends up being postponed and they end up not playing the game. It's a crazy incident. And then now they're going to play same season, except now it's really going to matter, and it's the playoffs. I mean, this is just crazy to begin with, right? I mean, because of the severity of the situation that transpired during the regular season, you think everyone in this game is going to be on edge because of the situation that happened prior? You think that this is going to be in the back of everyone's mind, or this is playoff time and they're just going to go out there swinging?
Yes.
Think they're just going to go out there swinging?
Yeah. You compartmentalize that. I mean, you do that in your daily life. You might have a relative that passed last week.
Yeah, right.
But you show up to work, compartmentalize that, and you go back to it after. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think there's going to be a lack of focus by either side. There'd be some emotion, there'd be juices flowing, but I don't think it's all going to have to do with the Hamlin situation.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. I'm taking the Cincinnati Bengals, and I'm taking Joe Burrow because him and Chase, I don't know, man. Come this time, it's this time again. And last year I picked them, and every time I picked them, they won. And I don't know what it is about them too. And he came back from the hip injury, and he really hasn't, I don't know. He hasn't had a crazy game since he's been back from the hip injury. Because I know Nick had him. I mean, he's been playing. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Maybe this week, maybe now, maybe he'll rise to the occasion and just ball out in this one again. Because I mean, if he does, I don't really. Who's gonna cover him? Who you think can cover Chase on Buffalo 1-on-1? Charlie, who you got over there?
I don't think they're going to play a lot of man-to-man. They got Poyer back last game, and that was big.
Micah Hyde's on injured reserve.
Who's covering Stephon Diggs?
They got their other safety back, Poyer. I don't think that's going to be so much of an issue. It's going to be, can Burrow get the ball out of his hands quickly enough? He's got one of the fastest releases in football and one of the best quarterbacks, smart-wise. He's Tom Brady Jr. at this point in my eyes. But he's going to be under duress, and it's going to come very quick. And Milano and Edwards are playing elite football right now at the linebacker position. And if Burrow slips up just one time, man, that Buffalo Bills defense is really playing well. The last 3 games, they're allowing 17 points a game, and that includes the 31 they gave up to Miami last week. So
that's crazy.
They're playing great ball right now, and I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's going to be an incredible game. I'm taking Burrow in Cincinnati. How about you, Nick?
Yeah, I too am taking Cincinnati. I'm taking Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. If you look at the past, if you look at the past, you see Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals winning these playoff games and not making the mistakes and staying more mistake free. Kudos to what Brady was saying, and then you look at the Buffalo Bills last year. I was picking them as well, and they were losing or they lost and made the mistakes that you wouldn't think that they were supposed to make. But again, last week, no one thought that the third string Skylar Thompson was gonna score 31 for Miami and go toe to toe with Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills were statistically, I think, one of the highest favored team in the playoffs in a long time. Something crazy stat or whatever, and they definitely didn't live up to that. They definitely didn't show that they are the dominant team in the AFC. I think the Cincinnati Bengals match up very well, and I think that it's just Joe Cool is going to be more cool than Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen gets a little more flustered in these situations, and you see it kind of happen in these postseason games, and even towards the end of the season. Back to what Charlie was saying about the defense playing good in the last few games, but the Cincinnati Bengals on the season are letting up 17 points a game. The Buffalo Bills are letting up 31. Fuck the last 3 games. Cincinnati's letting up
31 points a game.
31 points a game. Scroll down for me real quick, Ed.
Yeah, it's 31
You're
points.
looking at You're looking at the last game. There's no way Buffalo's giving up 31 points a game, guys.
No, points allowed per game, 31. They're putting up 28, Buffalo. Points per game for Cincinnati, 26. They're letting up 17.
You're telling me that Buffalo Bills this season gave up 31 points per game. That's what you're telling me, right?
I think it's an ESPN. I think it's an ESPN. I think it's an ESPN. I think it's an ESPN error that it's just last week's game on those stats that they're showing.
Yeah,
for the
I would
season.
double check those facts.
Because Miami rushing last week
30,
42
or 29. I mean, they let up 29, 31. Go to their games.
Because I can point it out here. If you look at just that rushing stat for their team page, it says let up all season 42 yards. Miami last week had 42 yards rushing. They had 220 yards passing. It's last week's stats that ESPN's giving you.
Go to the Buffalo Bills. Click on the
bad
Bills.
error.
Well, it's right here. I will, but the 42 is right there. This is the Buffalo Bills page.
Now look.
Where am I
Look
going?
at their games.
Oh, right here. Yeah, right here.
31. Now scroll
31.
down. 31. Keep going.
Yeah.
30, 23, 29. Keep going. 25.
NFL,
29. 30. Yeah,
NFL team rankings. Okay. NFL team rankings. Buffalo's number 3 on the season at 18.6 points per game given up allowed to their opponents. You can check that.
No,
check that out.
Do you have my Cincinnati's?
Yeah, Cincinnati's defense played very well. They're right there at like 5 or 7. I was looking at Cincinnati's at the same time. Same thing with turnover differential. They're very close. I think Buffalo's number 3 and Cincinnati was 5. So both defenses have played phenomenal this year. And Cincinnati kind of out of nowhere. We kind of maybe expected it from Buffalo. But Cincinnati carrying over from last season, what they did at the end of the season, their defense has been great. There's no doubt about it. And then we watched them against Baltimore last week, and they played very well as well. But they had an opportunity to lose that game. Like we started out with, just as much as you touched on Miami with the backup quarterback, the Baltimore Ravens defense held that offense in check. And that was an offense that was absolutely humming.
Yeah, to 17 points. All right.
Down the street.
It was 17, 11, 11:50 left in the fourth quarter. And the Baltimore Ravens make a quarterback sneak play up the middle, and instead of Tyler going underneath, he goes above to try to jump over to get into the goal line. They swat the ball out. Sam Hubbard picks it up, rumbles and stumbles down the field for a defensive touchdown for them to go up 24-17, and the Ravens don't score again. That's it. The Ravens they score that touchdown. The Ravens never score again. Cincinnati's defense holds them.
The Bills have a very similar defense to the Ravens as well, and that's the kind of pressure that they're going to inflict. Now, I think if there's a silver lining, the Bills have had trouble stopping the run. So if Joe Mixon can get off, I like Cincinnati's chances a lot more. And it's not like I think that this is a walkover for the Bills by any stretch of the imagination. But
no, it's going to be a hell of a game.
Taking all the factors into account, for me as Buffalo, I'm surprised all y'all went Cincinnati, but going, and I love Joe Burrow.
That's what it is.
I mean, I said he's the next
I'm on
Tom
the hype
Brady,
train.
but it's just one guy, and we saw Tom Brady was just one guy last night too.
For sure,
it's tough. It's tough. That Buffalo team has played good as a unit.
If I was just looking at the teams and the players and stuff like that, I'd probably go the Buffalo Bills. But it's just something about Cincinnati. Like, they had no business making it to the Super Bowl last year, but they did it, and they did it in spectacular fashion.
Right.
And they had a chance to, win that game. A few, things went their way.
Absolutely.
And so it's a similar scenario. Beginning of the year, they're like, oh my goodness, this team's imploded. They got nothing. They're going to finish the season with maybe 5 wins. And here they are, 12-win team. They went almost undefeated since the beginning of the season. And here they are, ready to rumble again. So that's why I like Cincinnati.
Well said. Yeah, it's the it factor for me. That's what it is with Cincinnati. It's like Burrow's got the it factor. And he makes the whole team gets contagious.
That's fair. All right, final game here.